Hey, what's up, everybody? Wade Watches here, coming at you with another movie review, this time for the Book of Clarence, directed by the Bullets. At least that's his stage name. I think his regular name is James Samuel. Yes, that's how it was credited in the movie. And I guess to clear the air on something. No, I'm not devout, not religious. I do actually, just as I guess as a hobby, and just because I'm just genuinely interested in it, I do kind of like study religions in my spare time. I'm interested in like theology and world beliefs, but I myself am not a believer in any faith. And take that as you will, because this, of course, being a biblical movie, that is not only is it just a biblical movie, but it's a biblical movie, kind of in the same vein as you could say The Life of Brian, or even something like Darren Aronofsky's Noah, where it's very clear that they're not going for another biblically accurate film. They're taking the source material and kind of adapting it to tell kind of an original story. And if you're looking to be offended by that, you're gonna be offended by that for sure. But me, I'm just open-minded, and I'm open to different interpretations. The Bible is statistically the most popular book in the world, and it's been used as inspiration for dozens of different things. So yeah, I wasn't looking to be offended or go in there and be triggered, and I wasn't. And so moving all of that out of the way, this movie had has some good ideas, and even seems like it's going to have some powerful messages. But the problem with the Book of Clarence is that it never really finds a lane to stick to. It keeps drifting in all of these different directions, and it never really sticks the landing. It's a very conflicted movie with mixed identities. There are times when it just seems like it's going to be like, another kind of like similar to Life of Brian, where it's like, oh, it's just parroting, like biblical movies and the biblical stories themselves. But then it seems like it's gonna be like a deeper movie, a more thought-provoking movie about, like, the difference between just blind belief and logic and rationalism. And then it becomes like kind of like similar to, I've heard this comparison Friday, where it's like, oh, we gotta pay back the bad guy on time. And then it becomes about martyrdom and being the underdog when nobody else believes in you, blah 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 blah, etc etc. And that is really a bummer, because there is some talent in this movie. Of course, Lakeith Stanfield is the titular character Clarence, and Lakeith Stanfield is one of the best character actors working today. The guy, I've never seen the guy like heavily in makeup, but he is just able to become a different person just with his speech, his mannerisms, and he pulls it off as Clarence. He's really good here. There's actually more to his character that I won't give away, or more to his performance. It's not just, let's just say it's not as singular as you may think, but I don't want to, give away, because the trailer, there are actually some surprises that you don't see in the trailer for the Book of Clarence that are in this movie. So I don't want to say too much here, but it was a very solid performance. A lot of familiar faces in the supporting cast. You got Omar Sy, you got RJ Seiler, you got James McAvoy. They were all really good, but definitely I'd say the standout is Lakeith Stanfield here. He had the most depth, the most range, and he was definitely the most complex in this movie. And I will also say that despite the conflicting identities, I did enjoy, kind of the more thought-provoking plot points in this movie about, like, belief versus just plain logic. I did enjoy, kind of like the story about having like a crisis of faith, kind of, like the possible dangers of following Messiah, because I'm a deep thinker myself, and I like movies that explore stuff like that. But again, Book of Clarence doesn't really like stick to a lane, because there are times when it's trying to be like a straight up comedy, and the humor in this movie wasn't the best. It was okay, mediocre at best. However, there was one like kind of like sight gag in this movie that had me laughing really hard. They do something with a character and it just had me laughing my ass off. That was the best joke in the movie. Other than that, humor was okay. So in conclusion, The Book of Clarence would have been a better movie if it had stuck to one of the many plots that it has going for it in this movie. It could have been, we got to pay back the Kingpin story, like a deadline set, in a biblical backdrop. It could have been another biblical parody movie. It could have been a biblical movie. It could have been an underdog movie, again, set in a biblical backdrop. And it could have even have just remained a movie with a deep message about like religion and messianic figures, but it just never really sticks to a lane. But I enjoyed the more thought-provoking parts of this movie. I really enjoyed Lakeith Stanfield as the lead in this movie, and also the Book of Clarence has a pretty solid soundtrack as well. So wrapping it up, I'm gonna go ahead and give the Book of Clarence a 7 out of 10. It's one of the better movies I've seen so far in 2024. I've only seen 2, so it has that going for it, because it definitely does have somewhat of a conflicting message, but there's a deeper message in there for sure. So I'll give it that 7 out of 10 for the Book of Clarence. This has been another edition of Wave Watches, and I will see you all soon. Peace.